inspiration corners and motivation corners, and mind you, we just not give you motivations to actually do like motivational speakers telling you they started with 3 goats, one cow, and it gave birth to a dog. No, these ones are real because they reflect on your businesses, they reflect on how you actually have got the idea, and for you as a beginner and the entrepreneur, it cuts across right here. Being a Friday, look out for the business tip. Jerome, take us through the business tip of the day right about now.
And now let's have a look at our business tip, which is coming in at a time when you get more inspired as an individual. The tip is clearly taking us through situations of learning new things every other day that comes by. And this one tells us to solve a burning problem. And an important business tip for new entrepreneurs is to create a business with problem. If you ask most failed business owners what problem they solved, they either can't answer or the problem they solved wasn't urgent enough. So that is for the business tip of the day. So you always have to challenge yourself to see that you as an entrepreneur, you create a business that solves a problem or a burning issue in society. You always have to find a solution to the challenge.
Being a Friday, let me address this. What do you think artists, what problems do you think artists solve?
Stress, maybe. Yeah, in most
bakula talent yabwe. You know, is building up a talent solving a problem?
No, building up your talent is solving your problem, not my problem as the person who's going to listen to the music. Because if it is me listening to your music as the target audience, if your music is not appealing to me, I won't listen to it. So that means I wouldn't attend a concert if you put one there, or I wouldn't even yearn to go and watch your videos or pay for your music. But if you are an artist who's dedicated to making sure that this particular client or my target audience loves what I'm doing, you are solving a problem, because in most cases music only relates. I personally will tell people that almost everyone, let's say music or any content that you see on social media or on mainstream media, may relate to you when you are actually facing some difficulties in life. That is when you will start actually seeing the lyrics being so intentional. And actually,
so you're telling me when you're emotionally
so,
unwell, that's when you reflect your music?
No, there are some songs, maybe look at slow music, or people who are actually facing some depression. Some people actually listen to gospel music, others listen to a different genre of music. But in most cases, they don't even pay attention to the words at a time. So now, at that time, that music is not healing anything. It is not solving a problem. It is someone listening to it because it is pleasure. But then there will reach a time when whatever they were singing is what is happening in your life. Then that means now that music is addressing your challenge. It's addressing your problem. You start reflecting now. Every other dot or every other lyric starts making a meaning.
Okay.
So
it is playing a comfort, comforting mood.
Trying to ask myself whether there is a song called Lusukura Semint, whether that will ever make sense in any
yes,
way.
It does. It does. I can tell you, Jeremy, it has put the tourism sector out there. I don't know if it was, something, a niche that came out to put the tourism sector in the country out there, because the song is entitled to, sugarcoat Uganda. I mean, that's really sugarcoating. Why would you just say Olusukulwa Semiti? I have never seen any garden that is cemented.
With peeled tomato, with peeled matoke.
So maybe someone listening it out there from Seattle or wherever they are, they could probably be wanting to say, okay, maybe I want to tour something like that. But still, it's a language barrier then, unless it is translated. But this time, digitalization came. When you put a song to play, actually, someone brings in, translations. So I know someone playing it away from here would want to know, okay, I want to tour this particular country having...
To see peeled tomatoes with a cemented banana plantation.
Peeled tomatoes.
Peeled matoke. Or peeled banana.
Yes, but we peel the matoke. Matoke mawate.
Mawate, that is peeled.
But that's true. Don't we peel matoke?
But you cannot find them peeled in a plantation.
Oh.
So when you add the dots, that is when the song starts making some funny. You start imagining certain things, imagining a plantation that has got peeled.
But it has risen excitement there, and we're reflecting this on the quote that we just gave in solving problems. Being a Friday, we're through, you know, entertainment industry, musical, artistic way. How do you solve a problem, or how do you even, when do you even determine to say, okay, I'm solving a problem? Like we said earlier, it's sometimes more on, you know, developing talents, you know, personal push for money, and then sometimes not even considering problem solving. But I hope you're solving problems across anywhere you are. Now let us look, we're going to have the business quote coming through a little bit in later. But before that, maybe we can give you a hype in the story. Wouldn't you want to know what we do have for more stories here, where electronic documentation system is actually as well undertaking. And here, Innovators have actually did call upon government to embrace the system. Joram, please.
And with the young innovators developing an electronic documentation system, here this enables a stable and efficient document keeping within the government. And this documentation system will enable government to make quick decisions, boosting operations within the country. And we are looking at how the young people are making more innovations and taking a step ahead in the world of technology. Let's have a look at the electronic documentation system here.
Indeed, as it is coming through, Joram, when you still look at the process of documentation around the country, you realize that young innovators develop, you know, develop systems, or let me say softwares. Do you think they are actually doing it for the community? We're just even from reflecting for artists, and now we're speaking about innovators. Do you think these developers are doing it because, you know, it is public demand, community demand, or sometimes it is just for money?
No, one thing one thing I've come up to believe about innovators and people who come up with technology is the main essence of what they do is sometimes driven by two things: passion and change. They feel more, they feel pleasured when they see someone utilizing what they've actually made, or people proud of what they've produced. If you to look back into school times, if I'm to throw back a little bit during school times, when people, when most of the, you could see a friend of yours trying to create an electric gadget, having 2 batteries and trying to light up using wires and all that. So that, back then it was actually done out of passion, and you would see them having that love. Now, with the world of innovation and technology, most of these people look at the money after their innovation is out there. Because first, they feel happy when people are appreciating what they're doing. Then the money aspect comes in, because now if you want to produce more, you will want people to buy your services. So this is where I would see most of these young innovators, you will see most of them, the most challenging part that they will actually come out to reveal is that they have limited support in terms of the funding from the government. But when you look at the skills, they start up everything on their own. Even without with limited or no funds, they still start up something because it's an idea. But then at the end of it all, for it to become a bigger project, they start seeking for money from the government. And
let us now see whether this is a dream come true, whether the system will actually enable government to take a very quick decisions on boosting the operation.
Within ministries is largely paper-based, which has had an impact on the speed at which government responds to emergencies that need quick decision-making. This has largely impacted business in the country. These innovators explain the driving force behind this innovation.
And for quite a long time has been very manual. They are paper-based approaches. You need a letter that needs authorization. It's a physical, it's manual. You submit it, it's put on file. The file moves from office to office, from officer to officer. Along the process, 1, this letter could get lost because it's moving on a physical file. Number 2, there are issues of confidentiality. You've had documents leaking before they actually reach the final approvers. Now, with this, there are bureaucracies that have been created because of the way government processes have been running in a manual form. and service delivery has been impacted, because a decision that could have been made in a week or in 2 weeks could take years. A decision that could have been made in an hour could take weeks and months. So this somehow triggered in our minds, and we said, no, there is a way we can automate and create an application or systems that can reduce the bureaucracy, that can reduce the time it takes for an officer to take a decision.
This is a locally established innovation, very vital in helping government to reduce expenditures in outsourcing for foreign-based systems. And now the ultimate question is, how unique is this project?
My perspective as a developer, the little time we have used it in Ministry of Public Service and ICT, it has helped the registry team to be able to track their documents. That's one of them. That has been one of the hardest things, because some people keep on coming in looking for a document and it's totally missing. They can't tell which office it is at. Yeah. So, but now at using the system, they're just able to search for it, and they're able to tell where it is at the current moment. Yeah. And the other thing, eDocs system also has helped to quicken the process of document processing. Yeah, because the moment the document comes in, it's scanned, sent off to the PS, and then she designates to the action officer of her choice, because they know exactly what to do with the documents. Yeah, so it's quick, depending on maybe the schedules that maybe the action officer has. It doesn't take long to process whatever the person that came in needs. Yeah.
It can also be a potential source for government to obtain foreign exchange if more emphasis is placed to ensure further development of the system.
I think as innovators that this is the right time for government to support the innovations that we are coming up with, so that we are able to export some of these products to the other countries, and then we can use these products to earn foreign exchange. As part of the foreign exchange setup or framework of the country, export of services is really key. And for us as innovators, we think these products are a very big opportunity for us to export, not only to the East African region, but to all the other countries. So what we need is support from government and the private sector to support our own innovators. This product, I'm happy to say, has been developed 100% by Ugandans. The application is hosted on the cloud in Uganda, on the government data center. So these resources are in-house within the country. And we think we have now sufficient talent and experience that we can leverage on and have this as a source of employment, one, but also to earn foreign exchange for the country.
Barija Andrew, Smart 24.
Thank you, Barija Andrew there. But when you look at all the innovation programming and how electronic documentation system is going to actually help government, I feel like it's not about even government, not only government, but people embracing things electronically. It is something that actually is very quick, though it comes with a cost whereby sometimes you inject in a lot when you don't know something Joram and you want to learn it. Sometimes the costs come in initially, but with time you go on appreciating and you're good to go. That's what I feel.
And technology for the young people actually who are developing a lot of, let's say, things that are going to change, let's say from the line of business. I believe I've mentioned something about how they need support from, it may not be necessarily the government, but it can as well be from the private sector point of view, is when you look at the young generation, they've got a lot to prove, or maybe a lot to actually execute. But the only challenge that they are facing is simply because there is less money coming in to support them. Because you may find they don't need a lot of money, but they need funds that are going to facilitate them to continuously deal with these particular businesses. So I still want to think these systems can only be very helpful to society if even government can regulate or can at least have a positive response towards them.
You're right, but also you need to know how you can source for funds. we always tell you how you can actually go out there and find funding, even when it does not have to come with government, like you say, or private sector. You have got friends, you have got your parents, you have got your spouse. It is sometimes the opening up game, and then a pitching game. When do you actually attend? You are a young innovator, but have you ever attended any workshop for innovators? There are always, private sector, there are always these initiatives organizing, platforms where they can go exhibit what they have got. Do you always take advantage of that? And I know every innovator, at least, every innovator digitally or digitally have got at least something digital, a smartphone really. When do you use that? Do you Google down something? Do you actually follow the right people on social media? Or you are recording, TikTok with your innovation? TikTok is fine, but you can use that to actually do innovative decisions with your social media platform. And this matters a lot, because when you put yourself out there, I feel like this is when government is going to see you at some point. You saw Makerere students who are able to put up something. It's until you put yourself out, Joram, that someone is going to say, okay, Rita is doing something, let me go out and help. But when you're in the corners and then all the time crying out, Tosobola, Chikola, those are just, inferiors that are in you. You need to come out, engage with other people, put on board so many other decision makers for your business to actually grow.
And when you also look at situations like businesses growing mainly, is that you've talked about social media. Social media is more of a tool that can actually help in the marketing of these particular products that are being produced. And if you utilize social media so well as an individual, or you utilize social media so in a situation like maybe, let's say, you, Rita, are coming up with your own innovation, and then you say, okay, this is the thing. What we need to do is we supposed to, let's say, I'm coming up with my watches. I'm going to be manufacturing smart watches. Then you use social media to push them. But at the end of the day, you may not get the customers. And for you to actually be recognized, maybe on the international level, or in terms of the bigger market space, if at least someone from the private sector comes in to support you, or if at all government looks at your innovation as a national treasure. And we've seen scientists from the universities who came up with manufacturing of electric cars. And once this happened, the government came in and picked up with the idea. So which shows you that if we are to succeed in innovation, the government has to make sure that we actually...
They create at least space. I do agree with you. But sometimes, Joram, I may not look at, that international market for the very first beginning, but how am I utilizing my friends? How am I utilizing you? Me sharing my watches, me sharing what I've done, I'm doing with you and, around people around. Those are the same people actually that are going to reach the private sector. So sometimes it's not just about you, that you've got to do everything. There's just logics and strategies you can relate to do that, and then other people, it's like a system, a process really. You program it, you analyze something here and there, and then somewhere it will take you through. Why are we talking with young innovators, with you, and also those of you who are actually wanting to start up, but for more to spice it up, to make that journey free and get inspired? Here is the business quote that can actually keep you moving, adding into what we have just highlighted for you.